become elected, don't listen to ours.
West Ascension Consolidated Drainage District is called to order September 1st, 2016. Invocation, Mr. Bill Dawson.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity to gather together as a group. Please guide us through this night in your way, and please help these people that have gone through this disaster. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Miss Peggy, I think we got everybody here on roll call here today. Welcome back, Mr. Pierce.
Thank you.
Accepting the minutes of August 4th, 2016. Second that motion. Minutes approved. Jews Drive update. Who gonna handle that one there?
Okay.
Well, we digging the ditch along the road. We like 3/4 of the way to where we gonna cut the road to put the pipes in. Ron got some pipes on the yard, so we might be cutting the road next week.
Okay. I guess the only other thing I wanted to ask on that, and I don't know when I was out there with you and Ron, is when we get to that cover on Christie Drive, that little short where the cover that come across the street, they put a little cement barricade so when the water hit, it can go out a little faster.
Well, Ron talk about that too.
Okay, so we all.
We'll take care of that.
All right, good. Okay. Just to let you know, that house flooded again, and whenever we get water like this, it hits. So that's what we're trying to stop and try to spread out the water a little bit more down Jules Drive. All right. Item number 5, drainage issue. Ms. Peggy, we're going to take this in here off. Okay. I thought we addressed this last meeting, and it was basically we can't get no right away.
I double checked this time as well.
Right. Yeah. It's a family issue. Okay, Ms. Peggy. Request that we remove that item off. Okay. Lemannville Cutoff Road Bridge.
Yeah.
Ron.
We,
Okay.
you know, with the flood and all, we all pushed back. We were relying on our other drainage crews to assist with that with our heavy equipment, and they have a lot of projects going on, and they also have some road culvert projects that are pending right now on that end, and they got to wrap those up and get those roads back open before we can move on to another major road closure. So that's kind of pending on those coming together.
The only thing I got, as long as the state is keeping up and abreast with it, because it was on one of the state lists, and they're the one that sent us a letter on that. So, okay, Mr. Bill Room.
Just to just go a little bit further than that, the fact of the matter is they haven't shut that bridge down yet, and they did shut down several on the east side that have. And that's why it kind of put us in a reaction mode over there, because now that's shut down. So we're having to repair those. And good thing they haven't shut this one down yet. But as soon as we get that those bridges functional, then we're going to come back over here and take care of this one.
No problem.
Okay.
Just making sure the state is in the loop here. Like you say, they'll come up there and put a sign say closed.
They could.
All right. Moving to item number 7, the coverage for Bayou Napoleon. And Ron, or
We do have secured right-of-way signatures on that.
All right.
It's just the personnel and equipment available to do it.
Okay.
That is lined up.
so I'm gonna ask this question because I'm pretty sure they're gonna ask me. I know that what they're trying to do is use that for harvest time. I don't foresee that thing going in place in the next couple of months, though, huh?
It'd be around a couple months. It'd be about the time frame we're looking at. But
Well, I think that, that might be yeah, I'm gonna have to work with the landowners on that, because that, if it's during that time, I know they,
But
passed,
we'll get with Mr. Sotil on that.
sound good. Okay. Bill, you had a question?
No.
Okay. Moving on to item number 8, West Ascension Master Drainage Plan, Mr. Bill Rue. Let's see.
That resolution we did earlier.
Oh, that's the one from
Yeah.
many years ago?
That's it.
Okay. All right.
It's the same resolution, we already, you're well aware of what the thing is, the deal is, and again, this is the name of, all the bodies named, classified, and this is the resolution itself. If the board wishes, to go forward with this, then we would need a ratification of this resolution.
We need to advertise it and all that.
Right, but again, yeah, but again, this is where the process gets started, and this is what y'all need to do. This is the document itself that we will be presenting.
Did you guys get a chance to review? Are all of these still current?
It's
These
all
are-
current.
These are all, so this is all of them.
And we also have it mapped, but again, these, we did the same thing on the east side, basically went through the drainage basins and identified it according to the basin, each channel, and reach of each channel. And again, mapped it and also documented in this document.
So somebody help me like on right of way here. So tell me about right of way for all of these.
Well, and this is something that gets a little bit controversial at times. People think that when you get this in place, that automatically we can do whatever we want on 100-foot servitude from the top of bank on each side of these channels. In reality, what it is there for use if we absolutely have to, but it's only for maintenance, and it's not for any type of improvement or upgrade of that channel or anything like this. So we cannot go in there and arbitrarily go in and knock down trees and take dirt away from it or anything else. We can go through there if we have to and gain access to it, to cut it or to remove trash from inside of it, or purely maintenance purposes. If we damage it any at all, we are responsible. So this doesn't take away from the rights of the individual or the property owner for maintaining his property. The way we treat it, though, is we use this as a last resort. We still try to get permission to get in there. We always ask permission in servitudes. We actually go further with this. If, in fact, we have this, we still try to get a 25-foot or 30-foot servitude, permanent servitude, and that's what we go by. If we have that on the channel, we don't even worry about this too much. Again, this is last resort. If we have to get in, we can utilize that rule of that part of that law.
Now, is any of that spelled out in writing anywhere? Is there?
Yes, sir, it's in the law.
It's in the law?
Yes, sir.
So is
And-
that-
and
what
there's-
is that? Is that an
And
ordinance?
again,
from the parish?
Mr. Parrington can,
State-
it's a state law.
Okay,
That affects all drainage.
Right.
okay.
Drainage districts. And there's also some rulings in there where you go back and see where they filed suit and they actually comment on, really, some fine points of the thing and how the court reacts to
We can talk
objections.
about having a meeting
Mm-hmm.
with the landowners, and maybe we can have some kind of summary at that time.
Absolutely.
Of what the law is.
Exactly, and I'll get with Mr. Parrington on it, but, yeah, it's straightforward, and we don't
Okay.
overuse this part of it.
Bill, we did this here on one right away we had, and the only thing that was always an issue with it is, the guy said he gave us a right of way 30 years ago, the ditch was 10 foot wide. He said, and then after it was good for like 5 years or whatever, he stopped us doing it because we dug it and it became to be 20 foot wide. So my question here is, are these waterways going to be measured to say how wide they are today, and so we won't have that conflicting issue in the future?
When we go in for a permanent servitude, and again, this is this is part of the law of getting this into your master drainage plan and everything else. But again, this is only for emergency type stuff. But when we go in to get a permanent servitude from somebody, we negotiate at that time with the landowner. And it could be from top of bank, which we'd rather, or it could be from center line of ditch. It's all negotiable on a permanent servitude issued to the drainage board. You know, again, we negotiate and we work out a deal. Again, as far as our purposes, we like it from the top of bank because we know exactly what it is at all times. But again, we have both types of servitudes in all the drainage districts, really.
So do we pay for this permanent servitude?
Normally we don't.
Okay.
And the reason for that is the servitude is to maintain a drainage structure that is of benefit to the landowner and all the landowners. So for that, it's a quid pro quo. We maintain it, you know, using that servitude to maintain for their safety and for their purpose. But, and in exchange for that, they give us the right to do that.
Is there a, maybe O'Neill or you, is there a definition of, you know, like, how do you decide, for example, Rocky Canal, I just picked out one of those, it's a major drain, is there a legal definition?
No, that's what the district does. They determine what their major drainage channels are.
Mm-hmm. And this is major. This is what we determine it by.
What determines what a major drainage ditch is versus a minor? Is there some
A
objective
major is
criteria
a significant, is needed, a significant need to the drainage district for drainage purposes. Now, again, it's kind of, you know, some ditches might be fairly small, but without it, 30 houses are going to flood. You know, so basically, you know, and this is another thing that we pretty much classify, a road type ditch is not a major drainage ditch. And that's why we don't include roadside ditches within, in most cases, in the drainage maintenance duties of the drainage districts. Because that's for the purpose of the road drainage more than anything else. It does benefit landowners, and it can, you know, flood a landowner if something happens with it. But those type ditches are not part of the major drainage district's maintenance function because it's for a specific purpose. The major drainage ditches takes the flow from these minor ditches or road ditches off somewhere else. So in most of those cases, we consider that part of major drainage district responsibility. And then it's just a judgment call really on if you distinguish that one of those ditches in this document. It's really a judgment call based on how much need it is to the district to have it as a major drainage ditch. I mean, again, you can't really, it's no definite say, well, it's 20 foot wide, because you might have something that's 10 foot wide, 15 foot wide, that's no use. I mean, it really could stop it up, it's of no use. Whereas you may have a 10-foot ditch or 8-foot ditch that could flood some people if it's not maintained. So again, it's nothing definite, but it's just a judgment call.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
I'm pretty much like Bill on that major drainage. I prefer to see some canals, they are listed at major drainage that we need. I mean, because they run through so many people's property, and that would be an issue if we don't identify it to say it's a major canal. And I think we got about 10 to 12 of them on here that is significant, you know, that we'll need in that area, on the west bank.
And you stated it rightly when you said that if the ditch significantly impacts multiple landowner, multiple places, you know, that's what we consider as a major drainage ditch. Is because it's a benefit or it impacts multiple landowners or multiple houses or whatever.
Well, and
So-
Bill, can we look at that and we can, in this resolution, put those specific, saying that they are major drainage right away?
We can separate this into different classifications, you know, of importance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I understand all the little small one and all that, but these major ones, I just known in the past that what happened is we had a major canal, we thought was a major canal, and the landowner sold it, and then the new owner came in there and did what they wanted to do because it was not identified. They didn't have to come here to see anybody. So one of the things is just trying to identify those, so when they do stuff like that, they have to come to this board to address some things.
And if you think about it, yes, Councilman, if you think about it, these drainage basins is something like my hand, okay? Where the major part of it is down here, but you got different tributaries coming to it. And as the tributaries coming to it, you got the other tributaries coming off of those tributaries. So your major drainage channel is where all of it goes to and collect. That's your major. Then you got your other channels could be classified as major depending on the size and the function of it and everything. But as they get smaller and smaller, they of less importance as your major channel where all your tributaries come to. And we can identify the different parts of a basin based off of that concept, how it comes to the major. That's not hard to do. But
That would work for me when we come to having these public meetings, we
Sure.
can make sure we address those issues like that.
We can classify and clarify it a little bit better.
Right,
No problem.
okay?
One last question.
Go ahead, Mr. Clear.
It says in here, natural drainage channels. So what does that mean, natural?
In the law, actually, it should say all drainage channels because in the law, the law doesn't distinguish between man-made or natural.
So we need to change this
It
language.
should be public drainage.
Public
There's
drainage,
those
yeah.
Which are draining, actually draining the public, not
Right.
draining one individual's home, but a part of your.
Right.
They're part of a it's a system of which you want to create these and designate these channels now, which are currently serving the general public. And you want to, all they're doing is all you're really doing is saying, these are the ones that if somebody tries to stop us, we need access to.
No, I got
That's
that,
right.
but it said, I think we need to take the word natural
I
out.
think so,
We need
too.
to replace that. Is that correct?
Again, if you look at, especially when they talk about stopping up a drainage structure, a drainage ditch, in the law it says that you should not obstruct or stop or inhibit the drainage through a drainage ditch, both natural or man-made. That's the way they term it. So in other words, a drainage ditch is a drainage ditch. They don't care how it's made or who, if it's made from God or made from man. Once it becomes a drainage ditch, it becomes a needed possession of the parish or drainage district.
So we're gonna correct that, I guess, on
Yeah.
that resolution. And then, you'll attach the map showing where
Yeah.
those are, I
Yeah.
guess. Is
And
that right?
all of this is recorded once it becomes,
Yeah, okay. Perfect.
resolved. But what we'll do at the next meeting, we'll redo this a little bit. I'll send it out, let everybody take a look at it. And once we agree to it, we'll bring it back to the next drainage board meeting.
Well, we need to have the meeting with the landowners and get,
Right. We
and
can do that.
get some kind of,
Okay.
something written about, to kind of quell their fears that we're gonna go in there and take over there.
And that's the main thing we deal with this is that 100-foot rule, which is a misinterpretation of it. And we need to
Well,
clarify that.
Right, I appreciate your work on this, Bill. I know you've been kind of busy otherwise.
It's all part of the job. No problem.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving on to item 9, Culverts at St. Jude's Canal. Let me cut off road, update.
We got the cover in, we got to do that concrete, basin and stuff, and we started, but the weather came, they've been raining for like 2 weeks and something, we had to back off it for a while. So
Okay, we'll
hopefully the
just
weather
leave
get
it on.
good and we be able to get back on it.
Yeah, we'll just leave it on the agenda. I mean, I'll say that I did go over there during the event Thursday or afterwards, and there was no difference in the elevation on one side and the other side. It was draining very well.
So that's all we have to do is get back on it, try to get back on it as soon as we can.
All right. Item number 10, Highway 1, Bun Hood subdivision drainage update.
I met with
Mr. Pierce.
the LADOTD, Aaron Ellisor, on that, and Mr. Chuck Long, and we told him that he needed to get the culverts and dig it to the right elevation and stuff to close it in. And that was his responsibility. And we even referenced a possible contractor that the state uses for that particular work. So more or less the ball is in his court.
So that's all his personal responsibility?
Yeah, that's along the state highway. That's Highway 1.
Yeah.
And he had questioned something about the back of his home, and I see where Ron had talked about in the last report that they went back there with the surveying, and
Yeah, we
the
did.
water runs towards the front
Correct.
where it should run
We have that.
to the state highway, which goes into a major box culvert on the other side of the Bun Street. So that should wrap that one up. That's in the hands of Mr. Chuck Long now.
Well, that was his original problem, if I remember correctly, was this back of the house flooded, or is that right?
Patio flooded,
Yeah.
something flooded. And he thought it was the front. The state came there and dug it, if I'm not mistaken. And then, he still have an issue with it. And I don't know, did he put a request in for us to redirect the flow of the water to the back of it or to the side of it?
No, what's happening is the water is coming down Highway 1, and it carries debris with it, and then it stops up the culverts, and the debris stays in the ditch till somebody comes on every rainfall and tries to clean it out. So he said, well, I guess I'm gonna just have to put down culverts. So that's when I brought the state there to him, and we explained it to him that it was his responsibility. We gave him reference to contractors, and if he would put the culverts in there, that would make the water flow.
Mr. Pierce, we do understand that problem there was solved with him, and afterward, he requested again for the parish to do something on the rear of the property.
Yeah.
And, I think Mr. Ron and Mr. Anderson did a little investigation on that too. And, so the front of it is taken care of, and I think everybody agreed on that. But on the rear part of it, me and Mr. Ron had a question on that, and it was right-of-ways where the drainage is right now, that I think Mr. Ron stated that had a building or something over it.
Correct.
And I don't think we had this discussion in this meeting, but as a parish inside the city limits, we do not have right-of-ways. It's the city who give the right-of-ways and who authorize those drainage right-of-ways. Correct, Mr. O'Neill?
Right.
So, I don't know if we went back and talked to Mr. Chuck Long or anything like that, but I think, Ron, you say that was the problem, hindering us from even helping
The
his
last
situation.
meeting we had talked about engineering and surveying and things of that nature, so I went back to the original request and got with our engineering department, the engineer and the right-of-way agent. I do have documentation, there is no right-of-way, and the engineer did go out to the site and looked at it, and he does see where if there is room for improvement there maybe along Highway 1, but it definitely is along the state highway, and it is in the city of Johnsonville limits. But the corrective measures that could be taken to do something for drainage is in the state highway. And it would be from Mr. Chuck Long's property to the main culvert crossing that goes under Highway 1 to Bayou. So any improvements would be, like Mr. Moose was saying, in the front of his property. And it would entail going further west of him, downstream. So you would be, Bun Street would have to be, dug up if they did an improvement there, and also going down Highway 1 on the north side. So, I don't know if you want to get with the state on that issue or not, but I'm not sure that they would be willing to move
No,
forward on it.
the state already got with him,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
I just want to clarify, we go to the rear. I mean, everybody agreed, the state done told him, if you want it done, you got to come out of his own pocket to do it.
Well, that's where our efforts have been spent, and, that's what the determination is.
Okay.
But I'm still,
I-
we still haven't, addressed the problem he came in here for, which was the flooding of this back part of his house. So we haven't told him what we found on that. Am I right there?
I've never talked to Mr. Long myself.
Okay.
I did go, like I said, research the original request. I think Mr. Pierce had actually took the original request, and, I think that the back solution that was looked at, that's where the ditch was being asked to be placed at the rear, going to the, that would be to the north. But due to no right-of-ways or nothing that the parish can do there. So, they looked at all other aspects of how can we improve Mr. Long's drainage at all. And, the right-of-ways that are in place that you do have jurisdiction in would be the state in front of his home, and that's pretty much about the extent of what we
Okay,
do.
so you,
So we would just need to make sure we communicated to him that, we can't do anything on the rear of the property because we can't obtain the right-of-ways to improve that ditch. Am I right there?
Yeah, we would need to do that.
okay, and I guess let me clarify this. It's not the parish to get that right away because it is the city, correct? Once the city identify that and they say it is a right of way, they can request to us.
Right, if they get it right away, then they can come back to us again, but that's not our.
That's the clarification I want.
Yes.
That's all. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Pierce. We're gonna move on to the second one. Number 11, St. James and Assumption Drainage. Mr. Pierce.
I spoke to St. James personnel, Blaze Guravawat, he's the operations director in St. James, and we talked about cutting the area going into DeSalmons that's Bayou Cheville down there in Lafourche Parish. And he indicated that he would call Lafourche Parish, and he did, and talked to the council person in that district. And they agreed to get with the drainage director in Lafourche Parish to kind of talk about the problem. And he is in the process of trying to put that together with the Lafourche personnel. He also mentioned that they contracted out T. Baker Engineering as a consultant to work with the Corps of Engineers to clean out their canals in St. James Parish leading to that Lake DeSalmons area, and that's still ongoing. They hadn't had any movement on that with the Corps and the consultant.
Seems like, before the HIP and before the flood, we talked about having a meeting with St. James and Lafourche and the three parishes, sit down together and, at least let's listen to what, I'd like to hear what they're saying about the issues that we have here with that, trying to get our water out.
I can try to pursue that. Well, I will pursue it and try to put a meeting together, ask them to get Lafourche and put a meeting together with Lafourche and us and St. James and whoever wants to attend, send out a notice. As soon as we get it together, but I know they're working on some of their flood problems too.
Well, I understand, yeah.
And
So
I don't want to give a definite date when that would happen, but we can pursue that, try to make that happen as quickly as possible.
When Bill, and me and Moosa had a meeting with St. James and everything, but the bottom line is the Corps of Engineers, okay? The Corps entered that permit for the Lafourche Parish, but St. James has not got there. And from what the conversation have been just across, with the parish president, me meeting him a couple times, they want the parish, both parish or all three parish, if we go in there to clean that canal out, they want us to blow it out, take the water in, blow 6 inches across. We can't dig it or dredge it. 2 inches, whatever. Most showing me 2 inches, but whatever it is. That process there, we have talked about that. We have paid T. Baker Smith money with St. James and Assumption But the bottom line is the Corps of Engineers. We have recommended that we go to our, state delegate, legislature to, try to put some pressure on them. Ms. Peggy, I don't recall us ever getting any response back from them or anything. But every big rain we get it is because of one of the things that the water cannot get through like it used to get through. Okay? And we do understand St. James situation, our water go on there. But now that area, from talking with them and everything else, the swamps, it's just swamps that have been filled up. It used to be a canal that running through there now. Well, now it's going into basically, the communities. The Corps of Engineers is our holdup. And I know Bill pretty sure that he done been through that, and we've been dealing with this here now for 6 years. But it's getting worse and worse, and I know you have problems today, Ben. I have problems in some area, but Bayou Napoleon is the main drainage on the south side of Bayou Lafourche, and the whole Donaldsonville go through there. So I don't know what to tell you. I know Moose talked to them and everything, but nothing hasn't been happening for the last 5 to 6 years. So
maybe we can get, bring up the legislative delegation, but we have some legislators that cross those lines. Maybe we can get some attendance from some of them in this meeting, and if Bill can't come, maybe we can send somebody, because do we still have somebody at the Corps? Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Bill, yeah, can you?
One of the, and we had a little bit of setback with all what's been happening, but I have a meeting what's scheduled for this week, probably next week or week after, with the Corps, and specifically I think we should be able to sign a contract for our Corps person that we could be paying a salary, is $217, I think, person. Hopefully, we can sign that within the next couple of months. And we can use that person wherever we need. Even if it's something in that parish, but it benefits us, we can utilize it. He works basically for us. And what we have to do is a joint permit, though. And as long as it's a joint permit and our name's on it as one of the sponsors, we can use that person there to help push through some wetland permitting.
Have you got a counterpart in Lafourche? Do you have a counterpart in Lafourche or St. James?
We'll have to get together once this, person is in place. Then we have to get together and we have to present a common plan. That could be hydraulic dredging, where they actually, a layer is pushed onto the land itself, and basically that's what they like. And that's what we actually plan on doing some parts of Panama and Conway. But I have to get with the other parishes, both parishes really, and we have to do a joint permit and specify exactly what we're going to be doing there, how we're going to be doing it, and things like this. But I don't think any of that happened yet.
It had happened.
Oh, it has.
We did that about 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, we'll pull the documents, and I'll get with the other two parishes, and I'll get with Mr. Pierce, and we'll see about how we can kind of coordinate, meet again, and just see where they're at it.
Yeah.
I have to get up to par on the whole thing.
I think that permit was a
404 permit is your standard everyday type permitting. Most of the time, if you go in there and do some just some cutting, which is your shredding, and do some minor hydraulic dredging, you can probably get it done in your 404. But we'll set up a meeting. I'll get with the people and we'll, get on the same page.
I appreciate
it.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Moving on to item number 12 is report Ron Savoy, Public Works Supervisor. Ron, you got anything?
No, we pretty much covered everything.
All right. Moose Pierce, General Manager. You have anything, Mr. Pierce?
Not other than Mr. Dawson requested some financials, and I included that in your report. So if y'all have any questions, I can get with y'all after the meeting on that.
And Mr. Craig Anderson,
Yeah, all I have to
Public
say is,
Works Manager for West Bank.
due to the little rain advance, we kind of like back up on the grass, but we back at it right now. So if we haven't got to anybody, we'll be making our round.
And since you said that, I get that phone call very regularly. So if you do have a complaint or you need your grass cut, please dial 257-1180. We have a clerk. She will take the work request, and please ask for your job number or work number, so you'll keep that up. So when you do call, they'll ask you, when did you put in the request, and they can keep that up and tell you where they're at, okay?
For the record, Councilman, we're not cutting people's regular grass, we just.
No,
cutting
only
ditches.
state public service, correct, you're correct, but they are calling about roadside grass, okay, not they also call about that, but. No, we don't have that many workers on the West Bank, I think, they finally found that out. Mr. Dawson, you have anything?
No, I don't.
All right, well, we move on to item number 13.
Move to adjourn.
Nope. Ms. Pagan?
Date and time.
October 6th. Okay. Same time, 5:15. Now, Mr. Dawson, if you, number 14.
Move to adjourn.
Second. Meeting adjourned.